Welcome back to the WHHI Daily News. January is Human Trafficking Awareness Month, and with us now is Duffie Stone. As you know, he's a solicitor for the 14th Circuit to discuss exactly what you all are doing to help in this really terrible situation that we have in our state.
It is. Thanks for having me.
Yeah.
The Attorney General last week issued the Human Trafficking Report for 2024. Beaufort County, there were only 5 tips coming from Beaufort County on human trafficking. There were about 265 tips that SLED investigated, our state law enforcement division investigated last year. So we have some handle on human trafficking in the state of South Carolina, but my gut tells me that those numbers are awfully low.
Low, very low. And so there's something going on, and really human trafficking, we were talking earlier, is a business.
It is a business.
Got to be organized.
It's a dark business,
but
it has to be organized, and I think that's where we may be. I think that's where we can make the most improvement when it comes to law enforcement and public safety. The states that I have seen before worked with through the National District Attorneys Association, almost every human trafficking case is perpetuated by an organized a gang or some group of people. If you think about it, it has to be, just like any other business, there has to be the market, there has to be the execution, there has to be the plan and the scheme. And so I think looking at it from the standpoint of organized crime, I think is the right way to do it. And I think once we start doing that, we're going to find more and more instances of human trafficking, but hopefully we'll be able to then be able to tackle it.
And we don't have any legislation in South Carolina right now that
That's
deals
right.
with
Georgia has a gang statute or a organized crime statute.
Right.
And you can call it either one, by the way. I mean, I think there's been some of the states call it a state RICO Act. Some of the states call it a gang act. There are about 38 states in the country that have these organized crime statutes. But the concept is to add penalties to organized crime, and which, of course, the human trafficking would fall into, allow for testimony in court about previous crimes that the gangs committed, which, again, is particularly relevant, I think, when you're on a jury, and also add some type of forfeiture provision so that you can go after the business end of it and take the money away from these people, because, again, it is a business for them. It is it's dark. It is a horrible business, but it is a business for these people running it.
And it's very, as you mentioned, it's very organized. I mean, it's connections.
Well, it has to be. And in today's world also, we think in terms of bricks and mortar. We kind of all grew up to say, make sure your children don't talk to strangers and all that. And yet, all of that is taking place now over the internet. Right. And I think we have to look at it from the context of it's organized, and the internet plays a huge role in that as well. And
so with that, you have some new technology in the solicitor's office to address that.
We have just recently purchased through a grant program a computer system that allows one of our intelligence analysts to scour the internet, social media, and various places like this for connections. Because again, I think a lot of that is taking place. You know, it used to be that all that was taking place on the dark web. It's not anymore. It's out there. You know, we see videos of gangs on YouTube. We see we use various pieces of social media and cases that we have now that everyone's using. So all of that is there to find. There's just so much. You have to have a computer program that knows what it's looking for to help you do that.
So, and you have to have an analyst, and so you said you have someone on staff that will be actually running this technology to be
and the other advantage we have also is we're the 14th Circuit, so we have 5 counties.
Right.
There are no, we've had a career criminal unit since 2010. It's been a very successful program, but it's not, what we have found are the criminals that we focus on and that never specialize in one particular crime, nor do they stay in one particular area. We convicted a murderer last year who was running a juvenile sex ring as well. And so that's sort of the standard thought process behind going after and focusing on career criminals, that these people commit these types of crimes. but also with a bigger jurisdiction than just looking at Beaufort County. Let's take a look at what's going on throughout the whole circuit.
Okay, so Solicitor, are you going to work with the legislature on this organized crime
Well, we already have.
legislation? Okay.
We already have. We've already helped draft the legislation from the Prosecution Commission. There are 2 bills pending now in the Senate, either one of which would be great.
Good.
So we're hoping to get some action on those bills this year.
Okay, very good. Thank you so much for your service and your leadership once again.
Thank
Duffie
you for
Stone,
having me. Thank
the
you for having me.
Solicitor for the 14th Circuit, and we'll be right back with more WHHI Daily News. Don't go away.